What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and it's that time of the month where we look at the data set that TCG Player sends out that highlights the cards on their website that have increased in value the most over the last month. And this video is extra special because I think this is a fantastic timing with everything that's going on in the market and an awesome opportunity for us to highlight a really cool just overall investing principle in general, and that's diversification. So as we all know, it's no secret, obviously Sword and Shield's getting a little bit soft right now, and Scarlet and Violet is really dropping hard. So when you go through this video, and again, this is from TCG Player, this isn't my personal list, this is the list that they have sent out of the cards that have gone up in value the most over the last month. All of these cards except one are from Sun and Moon and the XY era. Now, why is that cool? Why does that, kind of galvanize us in some really interesting principles? Well, it's because if you've been in this hobby for a long time, if you're a true buy and hold collector, you're not selling things trying to make a quick buck, like you really are appreciative of the collection that you've built. Well, if you've been in this since the Sun and Moon and XY era, your current cards are probably declining in value a little bit, just like the broader market. Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet is coming down. But if you've been in this for 10, 12 years and you have a lot of XY and Sun and Moon cards, well, guess what? Those cards are going up while your other cards are going down. So your overall depreciation of the overall loss of your entire Pokemon collection probably isn't getting hit that hard from a singles card point right now. So I think it's really cool. I always talk about it's awesome to have different cards from different generations. We're going to see, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be times when vintage is really hot and vintage starts spiking up. There's going to be times when ultra modern is really hot. We have seen over the last 16 months, the XY era has been red hot. It has been the hottest segment that nobody's been talking about in the entire Pokemon space. So there's always going to be these different areas that are hot, but if you're in it for the long run, if you're buying awesome cards along the way, I guarantee you at the end of the day, you're going to end up doing just fine, and I think this video really highlights it. So before we get into the actual cards, I think it's cool to call out what is and isn't on this list. So most of the cards on this list, I took a little bit of artistic liberty with two of them because I think they illustrate some really awesome points, but 8 of the cards on this list started off with an original value of $30 or more. On this channel, we think about the bigger cards with the long-term price appreciation, so I want the cards to start off with a high dollar amount. These also are ones that are in near mint condition or better, right? Because that's what I want. I don't want anything less than near mint. And there has to be at least 5 sales over that 1 month period because you don't want 1 or 2 sales to really spike the price one way or the other. So we've got a good number of sales. We've got near mint condition. And again, almost all of these started with a price greater than $30. So now, before we get into the 10 cards that have gained the most in value, I got to give my selfish plug as I always do. If you get into this video, if you're having fun, if you're enjoying the content, hit a subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. And I think kicking off this video with this card kind of summarizes everything that's been going on in the space over the last month or so, and this is the Sylveon GX Secret from Guardians Rising. And I think none of us would stand on a chair and scream at the top of our lungs, Guardians Rising was one of the best sets of the Sun and Moon era. None of us would say that, but what's interesting is you have this card. We also wouldn't say that rainbow cards were some of the more popular cards back then. But what do you have here? You got a secret card, which probably has a little bit of a lower overall population. It's got Sylveon on it. What is super hot right now? Evolutions. Outside of Umbreon, what's the next biggest evolution out there in terms of popularity and in terms of price spikes? Well, it's Sylveon. So we all knew Prismatic Evolutions was coming out. We all had a feeling that the evolutions were going to get really, really hot. And this is one of the cards that we easily could have seen coming. So as you can see, over the last 3 months, this card is now knocking on the door of $100, sitting at $97.35. 3 short months ago, it was about a $67 card, so up about $30 plus over the last 3 months. Just incredible to see how that one set Prismatic Evolutions, and I mean, don't forget, Evolving Skies was an evolution set too, right? So this evolution mania was going on prior to, but now with all of the people and all of the feverish out there in the market, and then the Prismatic Evolutions comes along, and we've seen all kinds of evolution cards like this absolutely spike in price. So this is a great one to kick off with. Again, up 42% over the last 3 months, coming in at almost $100 from Guardians Rising. Now, the next card is another rainbow card. Go figure. And this is a Dragonite GX. This is actually a promo card that was available in a box, and Remember, rainbow cards, I mean, they were very, very, very underappreciated in their time. Not a lot of people were fans of rainbow cards. You could go back and see them, and I mean, they were very, very cheap in terms of pricing compared to the non-rainbow variants. And this one really had a slow start. Again, this video really focuses on what happened over the last month, but you can see 3 months ago, just chilling at $42, chilling. Then all of a sudden, over the last month is where we've really seen this card spike up 46.84%, coming from $42 all the way up to almost $62. Super big jump for this promo card from the Dragonite GX. Love it, love it, love it. Next one is a card that we have featured. I feel like this is the third video in about the last 10 days that has had this card featured on it, but it has had one heck of a month. And this is the Team Aqua's Kyogre card. And I've been talking about this card for years. I love it. The artwork is amazing. It's just an absolute stunner from top to bottom. And as you can see, not only has this had a very good 3-month run, up 50.12%, but in the video the other day, I think it was Sunday when we did the movers and shakers list, you could see that over the last year, this card is up 217%. So, I mean, it just doesn't show any signs of slowing down. This card continues to rise in price. Obviously, as we've talked about, you know, the XY era as a whole has been really, really appreciating in value, and this card has been going right along with it. Fantastic artwork. Love everything about it. And again, up 50% over the last 3 months and up 220%-ish over the last full year. Next card, this is another one which is really cool. If you go back about a month ago, I did a video where I was talking about mega cards that I was super excited about, or that I felt had an opportunity to pop, because we all know Mega Evolutions are coming back in this next series that we have after Scarlet and Violet. And this was one of the cards that I highlighted, and this isn't intended to say, hey, look, I was right, I'm wrong, as just as much as I'm right. But this just goes to show you that the things that we talked about which made this card special were, number one, it was a Gengar. Gengar is obviously wildly popular. Number two, it's from Phantom Forces. So we love big name Pokemon from big name sets. And number three, it's a secret rare, right? So in terms of variability, in terms of pull rates, you know, this was one of the harder ones to get back in the XY era. So you put those three things together, plus the fact that mega cards are going to be coming out, people are going to be all over this stuff. It checked every possible box. So I thought it was really awesome. It made me feel really good to see it pop on the list this month. Again, 3 months ago, sitting at $90. When we did the video on it originally, this was about a $95 card. Now it's all the way up at $148, coming in at plus 63% over the last 3 months. Really cool card. And again, I still think, in the grand scheme of things, I still think that's a pretty approachable price point, because we do know there's going to be a Mega Gengar which comes out sometime in the near future. Next card on the list is the one ultra modern card, and this is the Hops Snorlax pre-release Staff Edition. Now, we have seen the Hops Snorlax cards from the pre-release do really well overall as a whole, but this one has gone absolutely batty. You add that staff stamp to it right there, and it just adds that extra level of exclusivity, that extra level of rarity, and people are all freaking over it. As you can see, this card hasn't been out long. Journey Together is a brand new set, but it's sitting at $121 right now. When it first came out, it was right at $70. It's up 71.15%, so not a lot to be said about this, because it just is what it is. Staff promos with big name Pokemon at the very top do very, very well over time. If you go back and look at any of the staff promos for, say, Charizard has a couple out there. Matter of fact, Snorlax has one from Vivid Voltage as well, if memory serves me, and that card's got a high price point. So this is a good lesson for the future. Whenever we have a relatively decent set like Journey Together that's coming out, and we see the pre-release, and we know there's going to be a staff promo version, might be worth it to pick it up early on, because they have shown strong track records of success in the long run. Super stunner of a card. Again, up 71.15% in its very short lifetime. Now, next card, Megas. We have been talking about them ad nauseum, and here is another one, the Mega Alakazam from Fates Collide. Look at that. Over the last 3 months, this card is up 74.5%. This was a $27 card 3 months ago. Now it is knocking on the door of $50. This artwork is really cool. This full art variant all the way to the border. It looks almost psychedelic, if you will, and this Mega Alakazam has just absolutely balled out over the last 3 months. I do think, and again, when you look at the total aggregate value of the top 20 singles cards from every set with a booster box in the XY era, even though those aggregate aggregate values have been increasing every single month for 16 consecutive months. If you look at that total cost of those cards and you compare it to the total cost of Sun and Moon, and you compare that to the total cost of Sword and Shield, and even if you compare it to the total cost of the 12 sets that have come out thus far in Scarlet and Violet, XY is still the lowest out of all of them. Just think about that. It is still the lowest out of all of them, which leads me to believe there is still some real opportunity for growth, even though we're seeing high percentage gains in some of these cards to begin with. Who knows where the top is, and who knows if it's going to fizzle out, but it's just fascinating to think about the fact that those top 20 singles cards and their aggregate value is still the lowest compared to Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, and Scarlet and Violet. Crazy stuff as far as I'm concerned. Next one on the list, and this one was a bit of a, a bit of a surpriser to me. You know, obviously Cosmic Eclipse has been on an absolute tear. The whole set is just stunning from top to bottom. You got all kinds of great cards, awesome Pokemon in there. But this Professor's Oak setup, not gonna lie, that when I saw it pop on the list, I was a little bit surprised and I thought maybe it was a typo. But then I went back and looked at it, and heck, over the last 3 months, this bad boy is up 85.53%. It was a $31, $32 card 3 months ago. Now it's sitting at $59. I don't know. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea, but listen, obviously it is a whole lot of people's, because that price appreciation cannot be ignored. And sometimes when a set gets really hot, like Cosmic Eclipse is, all of the cards just organically go up. So really cool to see this card, and I love it when there's a surprise on here. So next one on the list is no surprise, another card much like that Team Aqua Kyogre card. We've seen this featured in a couple different videos from TCG Player and a couple different hot trend videos. The Gengar and Mimikyu, the full art from Team Up, checks every box. Again, I'm not going to beat the dead horse, but big name Pokemon from the biggest set from the Sun and Moon era. It's a full art variant, but obviously the number 2 card in that set behind the Lovebirds card is the Mimikyu and Gengar, the alt art version. So it's not a surprise to see this one kind of gaining momentum too. This is not a cheap card by any stretch of the imagination. 3 months ago, it was sitting in the $90 range, and now it's up 95.49%, sitting at $176.75. Just an absolute incredible run for this Gengar and Mimikyu card from the Team Up set. Next one on the list, and now these final 2 cards are the ones where I said I took a little bit of artistic liberties with, because normally I want the cards to start off over $30, but this one was on the list. It started off in the $22, $23 range, but the reason I wanted to include it is because when I looked at the artwork and everything about this card, it kind of reminded me of those trainer gallery cards in Lost Origins. Looking at this, it reminded me of the Pikachu, of the Gengar, of the Charizard. You know, I would put the artwork one for one. I think that Gengar is kind of next level, but I would compare this artwork to the Pikachu or to the Charizard, and look at, I mean, this thing has done really well. Again, when you think about big sets from the XY era, you obviously have Flash Fire, you have Phantom Forces, which we always talk about, and then Ancient Origins is right up with Phantom Forces as far as I'm considering it too. So big name Pokemon and Gyarados, you got awesome artwork on here, and it is up 75.93% over the last 3 months, with most of that coming from the last month. And it just really, like I said, it just really reminded me of those 3 cards from Lost Origin with the yellow border, and you know, you don't have too special of an artwork on there. It's not a foil, it's not an alt art or anything like that. So just kind of goes to show you what over time cards like that can do, but an absolute stunner, really cool card to have in the personal collection. And then the final card on the list, and the reason I wanted to make sure this was on there, even though it didn't exactly check the box, but it was super close. This Reshiram right here, the secret variety from Dragon Magistry, and we talk about this a lot. Obviously, there's a whole Journey Together has Reshiram in it, right? Obviously, it's one of the main focal points of the entire set. It's got that awesome promo card, but then we also have the black and white set, which is going to be coming out, and we know that Reshiram is going to be focused in that as well. So when we have these sets and when we have these cards that we know are going to be big focal points or are big focal points in current or upcoming sets, a lot of the times we see this happen. A lot of times we see the older cards that have maybe been undervalued or overlooked for long periods of time, we see them have some really aggressive price jumps. I mean, this was a $20 card 3 months ago, and it is almost doubled all the way up to just shy of $41. Now, that doesn't mean that anytime there's a new set that's announced, you should just run out and buy every single old undervalued variant of whatever the big Pokemon is going to be. You got to apply some logic and thought process to it, but Dragon Magistry is a great set. It was a specialty set, right? So you don't have any booster boxes for it, and Reshiram on its own is just a really popular Pokemon. So you combine with the fact that this is the secret rarity, there's just a lot to love about this. And again, as I said, it's getting a whole lot of love right now in the ultra modern space. And we see results like this, up 91% over the last 3 months, with most of the gain coming over the last 30 days. So that's it. Those are the cards that have been going crazy on TCG Player. Again, this data comes straight from them. It's an Excel sheet. You can download it. It is really fun to look at. Sometimes they stack rank it based off of the dollar change. I always stack rank it based off of percentage, because at the end of the day, that's what means the most to me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane and all of these old cards. And if you did, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, but most importantly, I hope you have an epic rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later, everybody. Bye.